Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Perkenalkan, nama saya Pritz Hutabarat, ST, M.Pd, Ph.D. Dan saya adalah seorang dosen tetap di program studi Sastra Inggris Fakultas Humaniora dan Industri Kreatif Universitas Kristen Maranatha, Bandung. Saya bergabung di Universitas Kristen Maranatha sejak tahun 2015 dan ditempatkan di program studi Sarjana Sastra Inggris sebagai home base saya. Pada kesempatan kali ini saya membuat video pengenalan diri dosen unjuk kerja Tridharma Perguruan Tinggi atau PDD-UKTPT bidang pengajaran sebagai salah satu syarat atau instrumen penilaian pada sertifikasi dosen tahun 2025. Saya menyajikan video pengajaran mata kuliah lesson planning atau rencana pembelajaran yang telah beberapa tahun ini saya ampuh berdasarkan prinsip DIA atau Delivery, Interaction, dan Assessment. Mata kuliah ini sendiri tercatat dalam Sistem Informasi Sumber Daya Terintegrasi atau SISTER sebagai salah satu kinerja bidang pendidikan yang saya miliki. Mata kuliah lesson planning merupakan mata kuliah wajib yang berbobot 2 SKS dan diajarkan kepada mahasiswa pada semester keempat. Pada mata kuliah ini, mahasiswa belajar tentang berbagai teori, konsep, dan strategi di dalam penyusunan rencana pembelajaran. Kemudian mahasiswa juga akan mengembangkan kemampuan penyusunan materi pengajaran dan kemampuan mengajar yang sesuai dengan rencana pembelajaran atau RPP yang telah mereka susun sebelumnya. Kemudian mahasiswa juga akan mengembangkan kemampuan untuk melakukan refleksi pribadi sehubungan dengan kesesuaian materi yang dipilih maupun strategi pembelajaran yang mereka susun dan terapkan dalam praktik belajar atau mengajar di kelas. Adapun capaian pembelajaran lulusan atau CPL yang ingin dicapai di dalam mata kuliah ini meliputi 4 komponen utama. Antara lain CPL sikap, CPL pengetahuan, CPL keterampilan umum, dan CPL keterampilan khusus. Untuk CPL sikap, yaitu menjunjung tinggi nilai kemanusiaan dalam menjalankan tugas berdasarkan agama, moral, dan etika. Untuk CPL pengetahuan, yaitu mampu mengajar dengan menggunakan bahasa Inggris yang tepat dan akurat berdasarkan metode pendekatan yang tepat sesuai dengan level atau tingkat kemampuan bahasa Inggris siswa. Untuk CPL keterampilan umum, yaitu mampu menerapkan pemikiran logis, kritis, sistematis, dan inovatif dalam konteks pengembangan atau implementasi ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi yang memperhatikan dan menerapkan nilai-nilai humaniora yang sesuai dengan bidang keahliannya. Dan yang terakhir adalah CPL untuk keterampilan khusus, yaitu mampu mengajar bahasa Inggris di tingkat taman kanak-kanak sampai dengan tingkat sekolah menengah atas dengan memanfaatkan berbagai materi dan media yang sesuai, menyusun rencana pembelajaran yang efektif, menggunakan berbagai metode pengajaran yang tepat dengan mengacu kepada kurikulum yang berlaku di sekolah di mana murid atau siswa didik kita berada. Keempat CPL ini kemudian dikemas dalam 4 capaian pembelajaran mata kuliah atau CPMK yang lebih spesifik. CPMK pertama yaitu mahasiswa mampu menunjukkan sikap menjunjung tinggi nilai kemanusiaan dalam menjalankan tugas berdasarkan agama, moral, dan etika. CPMK kedua, mahasiswa akan mampu menyusun rencana pembelajaran yang jelas dan efektif, menerapkan metode pembelajaran yang sesuai, serta merefleksikan praktik mengajar mereka saat mengajar bahasa Inggris sebagai bahasa asing. CPMK yang ketiga, mahasiswa mampu menerapkan pemikiran logis, kritis, sistematis, dan inovatif dalam mengembangkan rencana pembelajaran dengan memanfaatkan materi pengajaran dan teknologi yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan peserta didik. Yang terakhir adalah CPMK 4, mahasiswa mampu mengajar bahasa Inggris dari tingkat taman kanak-kanak sampai sekolah menengah atas dengan menerapkan metode dan materi ajar yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan peserta didik yang mengacu pada kurikulum yang berlaku di sekolah yang bersangkutan. Berikutnya saya akan menjelaskan berbagai materi atau referensi yang saya gunakan di dalam mata kuliah ini. Ada 5 referensi utama yang saya gunakan di dalam mata kuliah ini. Antara lain yang pertama adalah Learning Teaching yang diterbitkan oleh Macmillan, Oxford 2005 oleh James Riffner. Yang kemudian buku kedua yang saya gunakan adalah Exploring English Language Teaching, Language in Action, New York Routledge 2011. Berikutnya Teaching by Principal, Brown Ph.D. 2001, An Interactive Approach to Language Pedagogy, New York Longman. Buku keempat saya menggunakan Jeremy Harmer 2001, The Practice of English Language Teaching by Harlow Longman. Dan buku terakhir adalah The CELTA Course yang diterbitkan oleh Cambridge University Press yang ditulis oleh Thornbury S. dan Watkins P. 2007. Materi pembelajaran dan metode perkuliahan dalam mata kuliah lesson planning diberikan dalam 16 kali pertemuan, di mana 14 pertemuan digunakan untuk menyampaikan materi dan 2 pertemuan lainnya diagendakan untuk ujian tengah semester dan ujian akhir semester. Adapun masing-masing pertemuan tatap muka akan membahas teori-teori dan konsep yang berhubungan dengan penyusunan rencana pelaksanaan pengajaran atau RPP, seperti misalnya membahas tentang komponen dalam RPP, berbagai strategi dalam pembelajaran bahasa Inggris, pengembangan materi yang sesuai dengan target pembelajaran, dan berbagai topik lainnya yang relevan untuk mengembangkan kemampuan mengajar siswa. Saya akan menjelaskan dengan lebih detail saat ini topik-topik untuk tiap pertemuan. Untuk komponen delivery, pada pertemuan pertama membahas tentang pengertian dan prinsip umum dalam penyusunan rencana pembelajaran atau RPP. Pertemuan kedua membahas tentang berbagai metode pengajaran dalam bahasa Inggris. Pada pertemuan ketiga, mahasiswa akan belajar tentang strategi dalam mempresentasikan materi dengan menggunakan dialog. Pertemuan keempat, mahasiswa akan belajar tentang strategi di dalam mempresentasikan materi pelajaran menggunakan lagu ataupun klip dari film. Untuk pertemuan kelima, mahasiswa akan membahas tentang bagaimana mempresentasikan materi pelajaran menggunakan teks bacaan. Pertemuan keenam, mahasiswa akan belajar tentang strategi pengajaran grammar di kelas. Pertemuan ketujuh, mahasiswa akan belajar tentang strategi dalam pengajaran dalam hal kemampuan membaca. Pertemuan ke-8 dialokasikan untuk ujian tengah semester. Sedangkan di pertemuan 9 kita akan kembali lanjut membahas tentang strategi dalam pengajaran untuk meningkatkan kemampuan mendengar. Pertemuan ke-10, mahasiswa akan belajar tentang strategi dalam pengajaran dalam kemampuan berbicara. Dan pertemuan ke-11, mahasiswa akan belajar tentang strategi dalam pengajaran kemampuan menulis. Untuk pertemuan ke-12 dan ke-13, mahasiswa akan belajar tentang strategi dalam pengajaran bahasa Inggris pada anak usia dini. Sedangkan pertemuan ke-14 dan ke-15, mahasiswa akan belajar menggunakan storytelling sebagai metode yang komprehensif dalam pengajaran bahasa Inggris di Indonesia sebagai bahasa kedua ataupun bahasa asing. Pertemuan ke-16 dialokasikan untuk ujian akhir semester. Selanjutnya adalah komponen interaksi. Jadi di dalam mata kuliah ini saya menitik beratkan pada peran dosen dan mahasiswa yang saling berinteraksi dalam diskusi satu sama yang lain, baik di dalam tatap muka kelas ataupun di dalam komunikasi yang lainnya seperti dalam grup WhatsApp ataupun email. Yang kedua adalah interaksi antara mahasiswa yang saling bertukar pandangan dalam diskusi dan berkolaborasi dalam menyusun RPP yang kemudian dikonsultasikan dengan dosen yang selanjutnya dapat diterapkan di dalam praktek mengajar atau micro teaching. Selanjutnya, saya menjelaskan komponen assessment atau penilaian mahasiswa yang terdiri dari 5 komponen utama yang terdiri antara lain yang pertama kehadiran dan partisipasi dengan bobot 10%. Kedua, kuis di akhir setiap pertemuan dengan bobot 20%, ketiga tugas kelompok dengan bobot 20%, keempat ujian tengah semester dengan bobot 25%, dan yang terakhir adalah untuk ujian akhir semester juga dengan bobot 25%. Berikutnya saya akan menyajikan video pembelajaran tatap muka di kelas pada salah satu pertemuan dalam mata kuliah ini. Ini merupakan pertemuan pada minggu ke-6, yaitu yang membahas tentang penyusunan RPP dan strategi dalam pengajaran grammar. Demikian perkenalan dari saya. Selamat menikmati.
Yeah? Sign this paper and then pass it on to your friends. Okay? And while you're doing that, today our topic is about teaching grammar. Grammar. Who likes grammar in this class? Yes. What don't you like about grammar? Henry, what don't you like about grammar?
Because grammar is complicated.
Complicated? Okay. What else?
Because there's a lot of pattern.
There's also pattern. Very good. Anybody else who don't really like studying grammar?
Because it's difficult because we have to remember a lot of tenses, about the pattern.
Okay. Lots of patterns, lots of tenses, right? So it can be challenging. Okay. So now we will learn how to structure a grammar lesson. Okay. How to structure a grammar lesson. This method is called PPP, right? Which stands for presentation, practice, and production. Okay. Before we continue, what do you think will happen in presentation? What will the teacher do in presentation, do you think? Public speaking, okay. Public speaking, presentations for public speaking. Anybody else? Sharing ideas? Okay. But in this context, presentation means something else. Okay? Let's follow this. So, it is a way to structure a lesson, okay, an English lesson. One of your complaints just now is that there are so many patterns in English language, right? So, but by using PPP, you can focus on one pattern at a time and put it in a context. Okay? So, and the focus of PPP is also on developing your speaking skills, your overall competence. Yeah? And three phases: presentation first, practice, and production. But guys, before presentation, you can always do warming up activities. Okay? Warming up activities. Do you remember what warm-up activities are? What sort of activities can we do in the warm-up? Games. Okay, what else? Yeah, we usually do games, right, in the warm-ups. Okay, but why do we do games, do you think? Why do we do games in the warm-ups? What's the point of doing warm-ups?
Playing game like something that's related to the program.
Okay, something that is related to the project. Okay, so yeah, before presentation, you need to be warming up. Okay, right. Let's move on to the first step, which is presentation. Okay, now look at this diagram. Okay, look at the triangles. Okay, so the right hand, this one, is time proportion. Now, in one lesson, or for one lesson, how long does it last normally? Like one sitting, one lesson. How long does it last? 15? 40 minutes? Or 1 hour? Okay? Suppose we have 1 hour. Look. The presentation only takes the least proportion of the time. Okay? So if you have 1 hour teaching, how long do you think you will spend in the presentation stage? How long do you think? Look at the diagrams like this, right? This is presentation. How much time will you spend? 20 minutes? 20 minutes? Do you think 20 minutes here? Remember, the whole triangle is 60 minutes. Maybe 15, maximum 15. Yeah? And then practice is a bit bigger. How long do you think will you spend here? So you only have 45 minutes left now, remaining. 40? 20 minutes maybe, and then 15 plus 20, 35, and this is 25 minutes. Very good. Okay, so that's how we allocate times in PPP. Okay, right. But on this side is teacher's control. Okay, or focusing on the teacher. Right. So here, as you can see here. Okay, what happened in the presentation, guys? In this group now, in terms of attention given to the teachers, presentation, practice, or production. In which stage does the teacher get the most attention? Presentation, right? Yeah. So the teacher will control the class during this one. Okay, and then the teacher will let go of the control as the lesson progresses. Yeah. So when it is practice, so the teacher will give more control to students, but still with control exercises. Yeah, the exercises is designed by the teacher with the response limited to what the teacher wants. And then lastly, production. This is the teacher giving almost full authority to the students to practice or to use the language point or the grammar that they have just learned. Okay, so if you like these two triangles, the first one is the portion, right? So the teacher will spend most of his time explaining here in this 15 minutes, and then carry on practice less teacher talking time or TTT, yeah, less TTT, and then finally production, the least TTT. Okay, the teacher will say the least here, okay, most here. Okay, here we go. So let's look at the presentation. So very teacher controls. Okay, so this method gives authority to the teacher as the main source of knowledge, right? So this method gives authority to the teacher as the main source of knowledge. That's why in the presentation, it is really controlled by the teacher. Okay, the teacher orchestrates how the lesson goes. Okay, in this presentation stage. Yeah. Okay. So another thing which is important in PPP is context. What is a context? What is the context, guys?
A scenario.
A scenario. Good. Scenario. What else? A scenario, a situation in which the language is used. Okay. So, for example, sentence like, "It is hot in here." It is hot in here. What would be the right response? Turn on the aircon. Right? Yeah? It is hot in here. It's not giving fact. It is actually asking somebody to do something. Right? And in this case, it's to turn on the aircon. There you go. Okay? Because it is hot in here. Right? Yeah? So if somebody says to you, "It is hot in here," what would you say? What's your response? Yeah. Yes. Okay? Not quite, not complete yet. It is hot in here. What would you say?
Do you want me to turn on the AC?
Very good. Do you want me to turn on the aircon? Thank you. So that's context. Yeah? That is context. Another example. The question, "Are you married?" Are you married? Can you ask this question to anybody that you meet? No. Why not? Why can't you ask that question? It is grammatically correct. But why can't you ask that question? Yeah. Why can't you ask, "Are you married?" It is privacy. Yeah, it is impolite to ask that question. Okay? Yeah? Right. So let's move on. So context is very important. So the strength of PPP is because it teaches grammar in the context. Okay? So hopefully the students will understand the meaning of the sentence, not just the pattern. Like one of your complaints earlier, you learn lots of patterns in English grammar, right? But by putting the pattern in the context, hopefully will make the lesson meaningful and you can remember the patterns lessons on. Okay. So the target language presented can be implicitly or explicitly. Implicitly. What does it mean implicitly? Look, target language is presented implicitly. What does it mean? Presented implicitly. Do you have any ideas? What about explicitly? What would a teacher do to present a grammar point explicitly? The teacher will just tell you the name of the sentence, okay, and then the pattern of the sentence explicitly, okay. But if it is implicitly, the teacher or the lecturer will not tell you the name of the sentence or the pattern at the beginning. He will save that until the end, okay. Yeah. So you can do it implicitly or explicitly, okay. Here we go. Sometimes we can present a language by using pictures. Okay? Pictures, using songs or movie clips. Okay? Dialogues. Realia. Do you know what realia is? Realia? What is realia? From the word real. Realia. It's miniature of real thing. Miniature of real thing. Sometimes you have like toys. Is this realia? This fact? I don't think so. It's personal fact, yeah? But realia is like miniature of things. Sometimes you have animals, realia, right? Okay, so you don't bring tigers to classroom, right? You don't bring lions, but you use toys. Okay? You don't bring your mother to classroom. You use your realia. Okay? So that's realia to help you to present your ideas. Okay? And in this case, to present the language. Okay? Right. So let's move on to the next stage. Okay, so this is presentation. What is the next stage? Practice. Okay. Practice is giving more authority to the students. Okay? But one thing to also remember in presentation is the importance of repetition. Okay? So in presentation, the teacher will present a language point or a grammar, and then the students will repeat after the teacher. Yeah? You can repeat whole class repetition, everybody. For example, sentence like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Everybody say, what are you doing? Say,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? Say,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? Say,
What are you doing?
okay, so that's class repetition. Teacher can also do group repetition. What are you doing? Everybody in this group? What are you doing? Again?
What are you doing?
Okay, this group, what are you doing? Everybody?
What are you doing?
Okay, good. So that's group repetition. Okay? Can be pair repetition. So between two students. Okay? Or can be individual repetition for individual students. Okay? So the importance of giving the students the chance to repeat. What do you think? Why is it good to ask the students to repeat the sentences? What's the benefit? Why can't just the teacher write the sentence? Yeah, what's the benefit?
So they know how to pronounce it well.
Excellent. So they know how to pronounce it. Remember, the focus of PPP is on speaking skills, developing speaking skills. So they know how to do it. Now, what's the benefit of doing it as a whole class, and then as a group, and then as a pair, and then individually? As a class, whole group class, what's the benefit of doing that?
So the student will be brave to say the word.
Okay, good. So the students will be brave, right? Because everybody is saying the same thing, right? So, especially for the shy students, it will not be on them. The focus of attention will not be on them. So they feel relaxed about saying these sentences. Yeah? Okay, very good. Now let's move on to practice. Okay? And as I mentioned earlier, practice is less controlled by the teacher, Okay? So the activities that we can do in the practice such as fill in the gap. Yeah? What are you doing? Okay? Or changing the verb. If she, remember guys, if what are you doing, if the subject she, what would you say? What is she doing? Okay? So the response to the question is very limited. That is control practice. Yeah? So activities that we can do, like gap and cue exercises, multiple choice, okay? So the teachers give instructions to students directly, okay? And the teachers will correct the mistakes, right? If the students make any mistakes. And the focus is on accuracy. The focus is on accuracy. Okay. And finally, production. Yeah, this is where the teacher gives more authority to the students. Okay, so the students can express their opinions or can practice the grammar points that they have just learned in real situation. Okay, so activities such as role play is very, very popular here, because in role play you give opportunity for students to develop, okay, to develop their speaking skills and to say more things than what they have just learned. Okay, that is the production stage. The teacher's role here just to facilitate the activity, just to facilitate, and from distance monitor if the students are doing the things that they are supposed to be doing or not. Okay, the teacher here will not give direct correction to the students because it will make the activity does not flow smoothly. So the teacher will wait until the end, and then the teacher will give feedback about how the students did the task. Okay? So the teacher will not interfere to make sure that the students feel relaxed and the students feel that they have the freedom to practice, okay, together. Okay, and then of course, at the end of the lesson, after presentation, practice, production, what can you do at the end to wrap up the lesson? What should you do as a teacher to wrap up the lesson, to end the lesson? Review, yeah? You can review, ask the students to review or to summarize what they have learned, okay? Something like that, okay? Just like what I'm going to do now, okay? So, students, what does PPP stand for? Presentation, practice, and production. Okay, in terms of time allocation, which stage should you spend most time? Production, very good. In terms of teacher control, in which stage should you give more or should you have less control of the class? Teacher control, production too, right? Yeah? In which stage should teacher have the most control? Presentation. Okay? So that's our lesson for today. Yeah? I hope you guys can remember this strategy. Okay? And then as for the homework, I want you to write a lesson plan, okay, based on PPP. We will talk about it in our next meeting. Thank you so much.